With some 7-seat MPVs, you get the impression the manufacturer has just shoehorned a couple of extra seats in the back. The Citroen Grand C4 Picasso, however, has been designed specifically for people who need to carry an extra couple of passengers. It is longer than the 5-seat car, which means you get more space in the boot and for people. We've got a selection of what car readers and their families along to see what they think.
Absolutely excellent. I think it's an outstanding competitor for the market leader, the Ford S-Max, at this point in time. I think inside the cabin, it has a superb ambiance. I think it has a very good driving position, and both my wife and I like the way it's configured and how easy it is to change. They're very quick, very easy to change from one position to another. It's very nice when you have put the load-carrying platform back over the rear seats, that you've got a very easy to load space, and that seems to give us all that we would need. Additionally, we go touring in Europe, and certainly without any sort of compromise we could get everything in there that we need. If you look at this from the front, certainly in the black colour, I'm not even sure you would recognise it immediately as a Citroen. Now that may be a good or a bad thing, it makes it a little bit anonymous. So that's the only thing that I think that between the two of us, we've come out sort of saying, well, I'd want to see it in another colour, in a different sort of setting, before taking that decision.
I'm very impressed, to be honest. Despite the fact that it's clearly quite a large car, it's a family car, as a woman, I feel that it's quite compact in terms of being able to park it and get into difficult spaces, which is really important for me. Especially when there's a lot going on in the car with children, etc. So that's a big plus for me at the moment. I think the visibility is good, the positioning of the front seat and the glasswood generally in the windows is really good. I'm quite happy with that. I can see all around. I haven't got anything that I think would be an obvious blind spot when I'm sitting here. The technology that it's got now, it definitely helps me in terms of cameras and things, so I can see what I'm doing with the camera without having to always use every single other option that's available to me.
Particularly impressed by the space overall. With a large family with 5 children, we need those 5 big back seats. Even as an adult, there's leg room and space for a short journey. So if you had to get 7 adults in here, you could manage it. I particularly like things like the tables with the lighting. So when you're doing long overnight journeys or late in the evening, children can read and do things like that. On a hot summer's day, you've got the aircon on, but that sometimes doesn't always give you the air movement in the rear part of the car. So I really like the vents on the side there and the vent in the ceiling area. Something as a company car owner, the emissions are very important. And the emissions on this car, for the size of the car, and being semi-automatic, very low. And that's particularly what got my attention on day one. I love the technology, the way that works, the way you can go from one application to another. But for somebody who doesn't particularly like technology, who prefers push buttons and knobs to turn, if they're driving along and they just want to turn the aircon down, their eyes are taken off the road very briefly to find out which button to press. I wonder whether that's a concern for some people.
The inside particularly I think is wonderful. I think it gives you so much space for particularly grandchildren, of which we have quite a few. You can put the seats up straight away, pull the seat forward, in they jump, and you know, the seat belts and everything is there. The thing I found difficult was looking over the bonnet. That would take a bit of getting used to. But with the cameras and everything else, all the assists that you have, I think it would be just great driving. I'm a little disappointed, I think, probably with the look from the outside. I can't fault anything inside. I think the seats were very comfortable, all the safety features, everything was lovely. But to me, it doesn't look terribly spectacular on the outside.
Impressed, comfortable. I'm quite a big chap, but this seat's really comfortable. There's plenty of leg room in the back. I think the wow factor's got to be the screens. I have the iPad that just ordered the 5S and so on, so for me, using a screen to get around is not a problem, and we can alter it, we can change the settings to what we want. It's a really nice big screen, which is unusual. Usually the screens are fairly small and you're sort of squinting, and it's not taking your eye off the road too much. I think I've read a criticism that for the heating you've got to go in and change it on the screen, but it's got climate control, so I'm not changing the heating settings every 2 minutes. So to go in now, change the temperature so I'm feeling a bit cold, and then go back is not really a big difference. I've just been told it's got the new AdBlue engine, which is taking the economy to another level and dropping the CO2s. So it's good for road tax and good for economy. So this spec is fantastic. It's got all the toys, but 30 grand for a Citroen is at the high end of, it's starting to tip you into other makes. And that would be my only sort of reservation. It's going up the price bracket.
CO2 is another big plus point on the Grand C4 Picasso, with the most efficient model emitting under 100 grams per kilometre. Prices are set to start at just over £19,000 and going up to around £28,000, and the car will go on sale from January. We've already driven it though, so head to whatcar.com for our full review.